mare e tātou. Atu mare e whate te whānau kua tai mai. Kua tukuna atu te rākau ki a tātou kai mātua puka. Kua whakatūwhera tā tātou hui. Tēnā.
Tihei mare ora. Ore re tūane i ngā taumata tīmata tama kōrero ko te wehi te ai hoa. Nene tino te ai kiaia, e tuku mai ona manāktana, tūru tō tātou ki na tūru hei kia. O te rāki ui tana hoa o rata whai, me aurora tamariki. O te whai kāwe i ki uitunu, o te rā tānau kia tātou katoa, e hui mai nene i rau te tūnui o tō tātou te kuna whai. Oi e ngā mātawa, o te katoa, i kei ngā kamupeni. Mai ngā tātou tamari, a tātou rohatia, whakatai, a tātou kura. O te tātou katoa hui mai nei i tēnei atu. I te whakatutu ki te kaupapa i mai a tātou o tēnei hui. Tēnei te mi atu kia kōtou, whakatau mai rā. Whakatau mai rā ki roto i tēnei tukuna whare. O tau mai hoki me ngā ma, hei rungi a tātou katoa, hei rungi a tātou whae ma. O re te koro kia rātou haere mai, o me roto kia reki. E kore i tangi e o māmai o kia rātou, o re rā mate haere. Hoki mai no kia tātou koranga tira, tāra nui ngā mi. Ngā mātawa hei wemene i a tātou, tēnei te miha tu kia koutou, o re rā nau mai hare mai whakatau, nau mai hare mai whakatau. A whakatau. Mano tō tātou karaki hei ki mati tō tātou hui. Tō tātou karaki ki te atua. Mona manāktana ki rungi a tātou katoa mai tēnei haura, tāno ki tēnei haura, pai māni nei. Tō tiakina māramatanga e te ariki e te atua. Ki tō mātou ki e te kāwe ariki. Ki ngā tina nei māwewe ana, tāno te amāta katoa e te ata nei a tae. Nā te roea, nā te
Thank you, Julian and Uncle Puka. Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Mary Jensen tuku ingoa. I am the Chief Executive of Smart Waikato Trust, and on behalf of my team and the Smart Waikato Board, we're delighted to welcome all leaders here today. Secondary school principals, boards of trustees, business and community leaders. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Before I mention anything, I have to talk about health and safety, of course. And in the case of an emergency, would you please leave via the side doors or the back exits, following the direction of the ushers. The meeting point is in the quad by the lake. Our theme today is working together, working smarter, making Waikato mighty, borrowed from the Waikato story. And we're about to play the Waikato story. If you haven't already seen it, buckle up. You're going to be very proud to be from the Waikato.
The river of time flows strongly through a place of new opportunities and powerful possibilities. From the arrival of the first waka, bold thinkers have seen the potential in this lush land and prime location, where land and sea provide, and nature's kaleidoscope inspires our care of people and place. This is a place to dive in, to discover, to explore. Where mahia te mahi, getting the job done, is in our DNA. Working together, working smarter, and giving it everything we've got. This is a place that grows and celebrates success by backing those who actively shape the world. Working in harmony with the land and harnessing the power of the earth with ingenuity and teamwork. Making, creating, and growing to share here at home and with the world. A place where food for thought is abundant, where minds can be nourished and grown. A place where life is good, whether you've been here a while or just starting out. And where friendships are grown with open hearts and open places. This is our Tūranga Waiwai, the place where we stand, in our vibrant towns and a smart, growing city. A powerful incubator for new thinking, high performance, and a genuinely rewarding lifestyle. This is our place. This is your place. The beating heart of New Zealand, our home, the mighty Waikato.
Wasn't that amazing? Really good. So many thanks to our supporters today. A big thank you to Waikato Men's Business, Mercury Waikato Tainui Partnership, Waikato Federated Farmers Charitable Society, and the University of Waikato for supporting this important event. We'd also like to thank our trust supporters, in particular those here today. A massive thank you to Deep Bryant Trust for your ongoing support. Foster Construction, Te Wānanga o Aotearoa, Gallagher's, Hill Laboratories, Wintec and Stafford Industries. Smart Waikato is a charitable trust formed in 2009. Our purpose is to empower Waikato youth through education to employment pathways. At the back of your program, which is in your pack, that's what it looks like, so if you can fish it out. On the back of your program, there is, you'll see pictures of our board and our team. So you can ask anyone afterwards about anything to do with SSEP and content of the summit later. At the 2015 Leadership Summit, we launched the pilot of secondary school employer partnerships, part of Waikato Men's Business's plan. Special thanks to John Cook here today, the then chair of Waikato Men's Business. John, I saw you in the back there somewhere, thank you, who was instrumental in getting this off the ground. Today we will share SSEP 2016 pilot findings via videos in a tight program. No speaker is allowed to speak for more than 5 minutes. We'd like your feedback and insights at the end on our response sheets that are also in your packs. Those responses are your ticket to go to lunch. And today also you will hear from Linda Nelson-Kai, our SSEP manager, Paula Rawari, Ministry of Education, Director of Education for Waikato, David Hallett of Company X, Sarah Morton-Johnson, Smart Waikato Board Chair, and Hannah from Fairfield College. Right now, I'd like to hand over to Don Scarlett, representative from the steering group of Waikato Means Business. Thank you, Don.
Ngā mihi kia koutou, tīnā koutou, tīnā koutou, tīnā koutou katoa. Don Scarlett, tātou ingoa. I love that we're here in a forum where I see the theme is all about connections. Connections, partnerships, collaborations. For those who know me, you know that I wear a large number of hats, just one today, and some won't have seen jackets as well, representing one of today's sponsors. But I'm amongst other things, I'm a director of Hamilton Waikato Tourism. Hamilton Waikato Tourism is a very substantial partnership that not many people will know about. A partnership, a collaboration by 7 councils in our region, promoting the mighty Waikato visitor experiences regionally, nationally and internationally. I always say none of those councils could achieve the reach, the powerful reach that organisation can achieve nationally, regionally, nationally or internationally by themselves. There's a huge amount of power and value in working together. My day job, I'm Key Relationships Manager at Mercury. This role sees me as a champion for our business connections with our host community, or quite simply, our neighbours. This includes partnerships with Waikato River iwi, Uncle Puka and Julian, councils, environmental interests across all of Mercury's operating areas. Today, I'm representing also the Waikato Tainui Mercury Partnership, and that partnership, our partnership, is supporting this event because both of our enterprises see the Smart Waikato Secondary Schools Employers Partnership as a valuable contribution being made to our Waikato community. And as Mary has said, I'm a member of the steering group of Waikato Means Business, a business-led Mural Forum supported initiative. Waikato Means Business has got a 20-year development strategy which was released in February 2014. Key thing for me is it's all focused on a vision to improve the standard of living in the Waikato region where all people, communities and businesses reach their potential. So Waikato Means Business, along with Well Energy Trust, has invested in strategies to stimulate and ensure long-term sustainability of the Waikato's economy. The Waikato story, I think you've seen the video of the Waikato story. There's a whole bunch of collateral that sits on the website that was showcased as part of that video, and implementation of this SSEP initiative, one of a number of Waikato Means Businesses initiatives. think you all, many of you know anyway, what this SSEP initiative is all about. It is very simply for me about connecting secondary schools, teachers, pupils with business. Easily said, a smart idea, a challenge to do, but I know that we're going to see some showcasing of some really exciting value that has been unlocked out of the pilot. Why secondary school employer partnerships? Strengthen relationships between education and employment to address what we know is a disconnect. Ensure students are making solid school subject choices to effectively transition to employment. I know from my own children, they've made some vital and very important decisions in that process that have served them incredibly well in their emerging careers. SSEPs increases attraction to careers in critical industries in our region. Sadly, we're still having to import workers to support some of our industry, and ultimately this encourages our great people to stay in the mighty Waikato. So I will conclude and just say Waikato means business and partnership between Mercury and Waikato Timely. Delighted and hugely proud to be part of this showcase of the results of the 2016 SSEP pilot. Kia ora.
Hi, John, I'm the principal of Mornington College. We have about 670 students at our school. We saw the SSEP as an opportunity primarily to open up the eyes of our students so that they can see that there are opportunities, many opportunities for them beyond school in science, and hopefully be engaged and motivated to head towards some careers. Other school principals should most definitely consider joining the SSEP. There is no doubt that the sorts of links that can be established between local businesses and schools are vital.
I guess the main thing is teachers themselves are generally academic and they don't necessarily freely go into industry, and industry doesn't freely come into schools, so there's a bit of a mismatch there, a bit of a misconnect rather than a disconnect. I think they're both trying hard, but it's just to try and bridge that gap in between schools and industry. And SSEP, I believe, is doing that very well by getting industry people in and getting schools out to industry to see how the real world actually operates.
The businesses are very forthcoming in everything that we asked them to help us with, and just reaffirmed good connections with local businesses. And I think they were pretty happy and pleased that we were bringing kids into their workplace.
The Morrinsville Waikato sites wanted to get involved with SSEP just to create a community connection. I think it's a really important part of our business, so we are local, so to get involved in something where we could demonstrate what we do on a daily basis and how it links to what they do in the science curriculum was really important to us.
I would encourage other industries and businesses to get involved in this program. I think it will be very beneficial to them in the short term and long term. I think it gives them a good insight, and it's very important for the future proofing of for everybody.
Going to Frontier and Wallace was an amazing experience because we got to see what the people do in the companies and also view how science is applied, the science behind it. When you drive past Frontier and all these companies, you see them and you know sort of what they do, but you don't know in depth of what goes on a day-to-day basis and what they do every day.
It's cool to see that there's so many more options because it didn't originally feel with science and stuff that there was quite as much out there as there is now that I've seen places like that. Interesting to see that something so nearby just just this one place. We're sending stuff all over the world, like Italy and Southeast Asia.
At Fonterra, as I said before, they use evaporation, and they use it on a completely different scale to what we do at school. It's like usually at school we just boil water. At Fonterra, like they boil water to get what they need to do done.
SSEP has shown me all the different ways that science can be used in our community. In school I thought it was just something fun that we can do and something that's involved in the world, but it's more important than I actually thought it was.
I didn't really know a lot about engineering before BLM, but when we went there it really helped me and I actually knew the stuff and I actually really enjoyed it, so maybe I can go through that path as well. Thank you for the experience. It really helped me personally as well and I really enjoyed it, and if I could do it again I definitely would.
Kia ora koutou and welcome to the 2017 Smart Waikato Leadership Summit. My name is Linda Nelson-Kai. I'm the Project Manager of Secondary School Employer Partnerships. Secondary School Employer Partnerships is a bit of a mouthful, so from here on in we're just going to refer to it as SSEP. Now SSEP in its nature is collaborative and is a shining example of how working together can affect positive change, strengthen the future of our youth and ultimately our region. With SSEP, this collaboration began with the pilot's three sponsors, Waikato Means Business, Well Energy Trust and the Ministry of Education. Thank you to those sponsors for your investment in our future. During the 2016 school year, 26 secondary school teachers and 48 employer partners worked together to create a huge range of incredible learning experiences for 731 Year 9 and 10 students. The way that SSEP works is that we have 7 to 10 employers from a range of key Waikato industries who partner with subject teachers to create contextualised learning opportunities for students. Waikato Means Business labour market strategy identified 5 key industries in our region critical to our economy. These include information and communications technology, construction and infrastructure, health, business and engineering. So each employer partner from these individual industries has 3 points of contact with a class, and at least one of those contacts is within the workplace. So they actually host the students in the workplace so that they can see what they're learning in the classroom. For example, boiling water applies in the real world. The focus of SSEP is specifically on Year 9 and 10 students. So this is 3rd and 4th formers for those of us who are a bit more old school. The purpose of this is to increase student engagement in their learning and to improve student achievement, retention and transitions into work. The curriculum is more flexible at this stage as is the timetabling before students get into the NCEA subjects and the restrictions that comes with. Also, it's a prime opportunity to start to plant seeds with this young group. So we're talking 13, 14, 15-year-olds. We're not expecting them to make major decisions at this point, but we are exposing them to what is out there and viable career options in our region. Furthermore, they also experience what they're learning, how they can use it in their future, and hopefully will encourage them to continue studying those subjects.
Kia ora, my name is Richard Crawford. I'm the principal of Fifield College. I saw it as an opportunity for our students to be exposed to learning and opportunities that I guess are at the leading edge of industry, and so that was always a positive thing for our students. But from my side of it, I thought it was important that we also get our teachers involved with people who are in industry so that they can develop how they teach and even what they teach so that they can be more receptive to what industry is requiring of young people.
The focus was on mathematics, but we generally focused on measurement, geometry and statistics. The students saw through SSEP and going into the employers' workplaces and the employers working with them as well, that they use statistics, geometry, algebra, trigonometry all the time in the different businesses.
The businesses were phenomenal. These men and ladies that came in, they just took it on board. They moved to cater for our kids. They created environments and experiences that would hook them in. They really stepped up.
It was a great experience, yes, to work with the professionals, different professionals. We have been working with teachers all the time and working with the people who are not teachers gives us a lot of idea how we build relationship with them and how we adopt their ideas in the classroom.
Got to understand for them too how hard it is to sometimes create a relevance between the curriculum and how the children are going to apply what they're learning outside of school.
I think it's really important to get involved with students at a younger level, purely because we can teach them some of these really important life skills, you know, things that they hopefully will hold on to for the rest of their lives.
To actually have a meaning for what they're being shown and what they're being taught, and taking it through into industry when they can use it. And there is a purpose for being taught all this stuff at school.
If I looked at it from the company perspective and therefore what we as a group got out of it, it really was our ability to provide sort of support to the community to really feel like we're making a contribution.
When we went to CTC, we planned a flight to Hamilton to Matamata and back again, so we need to calculate how much fuel we needed, how long the distance was, the wind speed, and just everything that would make a successful flight and make it all safe.
I enjoyed reconnecting with the kids. I enjoyed getting them to think about maths as an everyday thing that doesn't have to be intimidating and scary.
It's also given me like a lot of opportunities and finding out what I really want to do, and so I've actually added some jobs to my list that I would like to do and like explore and have a look at.
Math for me was never something that I really enjoyed, but now realising how much it's going to affect my career, it definitely just has kind of opened my eyes to how important it is.
I'd like to say to the business people that, you know, what they did, I believe, had an influence on young people and their thinking.
To invest in something that is new, a new initiative. And our sponsors had that courage to do that, and we are so excited today to present the outcomes of that first year of SSEP. So up on the screen here behind you, we conducted a survey at the end of the year and asked the students involved, has the experience of having business people in the classroom and going out into the workplace had an impact on you over several criteria? So what you're looking at there is the light green is the Year 9 student responses, the dark green is the Year 10 responses, and the blue is the overall. As you can see, while there was a significant impact on Year 9 students, it was even more pronounced at Year 10 level. There are several reasons for this, and if you're particularly interested and fancy some light bedtime reading, there's a 36-odd page report that is available on our website from this afternoon on the Smart Waikato website. There is also a full-page summary inside your packs there. 543 students across the 5 schools involved completed this survey, so this response comes from that. In the Year 10 space, 84% of Year 10 students across the school said that SSEP helped them understand why they're studying the subject at school. 75% said it made them more interested in the subject area, which probably as many as you remember from school, especially when we're talking about maths, science and English, sometimes that's a little bit of a requirement. And 71% said that it helped felt when they were thinking about their future career. So we've had some really exciting results coming through, and it hasn't just been the students that have been impacted by this program.
I'm Susan Hassel, and I'm very fortunate to be the headmaster at Huntly Boys High School. We're a central city school, decile 7 students, so we have a whole range of different types of boys, 2,200 of them. SSEP is a whole next step for us in terms of our strategic vision. Our vision for our school is to craft young men who are happy, who are very, very successful in whatever field of endeavour that they really want to go on and be involved in. They've had to go out into the workplace and interact with people who are older than them, who are in quite almost a threatening environment because it's so unknown to them. So it's broken the ice. It means that the next time they do that, they'll feel so much more confident in themselves. I think the staff went into it for the sake of the boys, and they've come out of it feeling as though they've gained from it themselves. They've gained a greater understanding of the context that their own content knowledge is able to be placed in a workplace environment.
It's been really refreshing actually dealing with some of these businesses because it helps keep you in touch with what's happening out there in the professional organisations, because sometimes as teachers we get a little bit out of practice or out of date with some of the current working. So it's nice to be able to affirm that you're on the right track or things that you need to try and improve on. It also allows students to get some outside expertise to kind of help guide their projects. So it kind of backs up what you're doing as a teacher, but also provides students with the experts that can kind of let the students know that, hey, you know what you're being taught in class is also what we're doing out there in the community, just at a different level, obviously.
One of the benefits for us at Rocket Spark with the SSEP program has been my personal development with teaching the students, working with teachers and other people outside of Rocket Spark, meeting with them to achieve a common goal has just been really cool and been a great training ground for myself and my professional development.
We've learned that there's a lot of talent out there. Some of these kids, although they're quite quiet in some of these interviews and discussions that we're having with them, they are bright sparks, and it's actually quite cool to bounce ideas off them.
Giving them ideas and inspiration of what other fields they can from IT, and they can use their skills if they've got, design skills, or if they've got artistic skills that they can focus into another line. So I guess for us, that's one of the big benefits is showing them the opportunities that are out there.
Light Designs really wanted to support the SSE pilot program because we've got a whole bunch of talented technical experts who work in programming in other areas who love to give back and love to help others learn. So we really saw it as an opportunity to give our guys that chance to give back and help others, but also to identify talent that were up and coming who would be coming into our industry in the future.
Meeting all the different individual parts of the team, like the consultants, the accountants, the design people, the graphics, the coders, way more diverse than I ever would have imagined. It was really inspiring to know that someone like us could go off and do that ourselves.
Yeah, it's kind of prepped me up for thinking about what I need to be doing right now for the future.
Honestly, it's been really, really helpful. It's definitely put what we've done here at school into practice a lot. It's definitely done that really well.
What you get from Smart Waikato is a different layer of enthusiasm. It would be fair to say they're some of the most passionate people there are around. They absolutely believe in what they're doing, and so it's infectious that you do feel that enthusiasm and that passion yourself when you're involved with them.
I'd just like to say to everyone, to Mr. Devitt and to the companies that come to visit, that thank you, and it's just been a really cool experience on understanding what they do, and yeah, I think it's just been really cool.
Working together, working smarter, what SSEP is all about. about. The first year of SSEP is quite time intensive, it's fair to say. What we're doing is we are introducing almost arranged marriages between two very different environments, two very different groups of people. The way they communicate is different, the way that they speak is different. And the Smart Waikato involvement has really been bringing these two groups together and to support them as they work through this process of actually working together to create exciting learning opportunities for students. So the involvement of Smart Waikato Trust has been and continues to be for our new partner schools, selecting schools and determining the SSEP model with them. And for each school, the SSEP looks slightly different depending on the school environment and also the employers that we have partnered with them. It involves briefing staff, the leadership team and board of trustees of each school, the matching and onboarding of relevant local employers. And we don't just take any old riffraff, we're very selective with the people that we invite to participate in the program to make sure that the teachers and the students are receiving maximum benefit from the program. So if you are an employer and you're thinking, how can I get involved with this, because I'm really hoping that you're starting to think that at this point, what we're looking for is that you are a good match to the subject area. So generally we start with 1 or 2 faculties in the school with a view to extend it later. So if, for example, you're a good match to the maths curriculum, then we would be very, very grateful for your input into a school there. A willingness to commit to a 3-year partnership, and we asked this of our schools and employer partners so that it wasn't just a one-off. We didn't really want everyone to tootle off at the end of the year, never to be seen again. So the first year really was just that. It was very much a learning experience for all of us. As we come into year 2, things are really kicking off with a hiss and a roar with each of the schools. And then into year 3, we have that consolidation. So we ask that employers are able to commit the time to connect with 2 to 3 classes. And the first year again is fairly intensive on the planning side of things, as this is new for everybody. So in year 1, we're looking at around a 20-hour time commitment from employers to be involved, with that reducing each year subsequently. The employer partners came from a range of places. What we did find though, in the end, that 66% of the employer partners that we did have partnered with our SSEP schools had actually no previous connection with the school. So it was really exciting to be able to make these introductions and for these really fabulous outcomes to happen. During SSEP, the role of Smart Waikato is to facilitate introductions and early meetings with the partners, provide a framework and resources for partnerships. Through this process, I've heard from several employers and schools that both have been really keen to work together, but no one was quite sure how to do it. So the framework that this program provides has been fantastic in the terms that it actually gives everyone a central point of reference to work with. We've also been an independent point of contact for issue resolution with any new thing, with any new relationship. There can be some things that come up from time to time, so it's been useful for both the employer partners and the schools to have someone to come to if they're having any teething issues as it's gone through. We've created a resource pack that we're starting to share with our new schools coming in. That's an ongoing process for us. And also evaluation and measurement of SSEP to make sure that the students, the teachers and the employers are all really getting the most out of what we want to see from the program. And I must say that it has actually exceeded our expectations. At the end of the year, we get the groups back together again to facilitate focus groups and planning at year end so that we can kick off for year 2.
Kia ora, my name is Dave Sim. I'm the principal of Thames High School. Thames High School is a decile 5 co-ed secondary school located in Thames, which is a small town on the Thames Coromandel. The opportunities that SSEP offers in terms of a wider range of experience for our students, we were quite excited at the prospect of being able to grow and develop what we're doing in the area of business. And SSEP was just a really good fit.
So they've developed confidence, they've learned the importance of self-management skills, leadership skills, delegation, meeting deadlines. There's a lot of hidden curriculum and social skills on top of the business skills that they've learned.
Forming relationships with people in the high school has been really really important. A number of the teachers could form a wide network of relationships and use people out there in the business world as a resource to help with real life examples or with real life projects, those sorts of things.
I look at it and go, we've got some great young people in teams. I need to be finding those people all the time and developing through our business, into leadership positions.
They can go straight out to the business and see it firsthand and pick up some of those skills and get that transition between business and the school education as well.
What they're being educated with does actually apply in the real world in one form or another.
The school has been very visionary in allowing the students to have a taster of what it's like, some of the things that they need to think about if they start up a business. And the school's really committed to also giving the students a wide range of experiences.
Our mentor Sean Hayes, he showed us all the accounting records like sales, revenue, profit and all the expenses and all that, and then after that we were sent to go make our own.
The business mentor I think was like a really important part of this unit because he sort of showed us the difference between what you often do in school and like what it is actually like outside of school, and that really made it a lot easier to see what you're doing in school is going to transfer to the outside world.
Since Oceana's been doing the program, I've noticed that she's more outgoing, more willing to talk to other people that she would not necessarily talk to. Also, even that little bit of I can do this type attitude. She used to see something that she'd never had ever come across before, and the first instinct would be, I can't do this. But with the positive encouragement of Cheryl, she's come back with, I'll give it a go. I'll see where it goes, and that's been really awesome.
Yeah, it was really rewarding actually.
It's been really awesome working with the Smart Waikato Trust. And I can honestly say that without their input, without their enthusiasm, their organisation, their coordination and the resources they've supported us with, the project wouldn't have been anywhere near as successful.
Well, 66% of our employer partners previously had no connection with the school that they were involved with SSEP. It was something like 98% of teachers had no connection with the employer partners that they were working with. Excuse me. We find that teachers can be very much lone wolves in the classroom. They're in charge of the pack, and I must say I deeply admire the job that they do. The impact on the professional development of the teachers over the past year as they've been working with the employers, getting to know them, getting to know their business, has also been dramatic, with 92% of the teachers saying that the SSEP experience has had a positive impact on their professional development. And in terms of the way that they deliver the curriculum, it's actually changed the way that they're thinking about this subject, the way that they're teaching it, and the way that they can create more meaningful experiences for their students. 77% of the teachers involved in the pilot have said they now plan their subject deliberately differently, not only with their SSEP class, but they're starting to do that also with other classes in the school. So it's starting to filter up to that senior level as well. As relationships between the teachers and the business people have developed, several of the teachers involved have invited their SSE partners to come and speak to other classes, or have invited them to be in other activities to do with the school outside of the SSEP. As a New Zealand First initiative, throughout the SSEP journey, we have been working very closely with the Ministry of Education to ensure that this program complements other national initiatives that are happening at the moment. I'd like to particularly thank Jean Patterson, Jenny Baber, and our next speaker, Director of Education, Waikato Paula Rawari, for your input and support throughout the SSEP journey. Could you please put your hands together and welcome Paula to the stage.
Tēnā papa katoa, pēnā e rau te mihi kia koe o kokoka, nā i whakatūpira tātou hui kia tēnei, nā i nehi kia mātou, i tā tēnei, huri no e te ruma, tēnā koutou katoa. very proud to be standing here. From the Waikato, I hail from Stockwell. I was just saying to David, that's the picture at the beginning of the presentation, Heather, the majestic Hooker Falls, and I'm proud to have lived beside Stockwell and married to a husband who is from Port Waikato, and now we reside in Ngāruawāhia. To be able to come back to the Waikato and serve the people of the Waikato is indeed a real privilege, and it's really great to be able to speak with you here this morning. So the ministry's been really pleased to support the secondary school employer partnerships as a further initiative in the region to strengthen relationships and connections between schools and employers. Children and young people have the best chance of educational success when there are two key elements that come together. The first is about strong educational leadership and teaching and learning, supported by effective governance, and we see this within the education system. The second is about having strong engagement and contributions from students themselves and those best placed to support them outside of school in the system. This includes parents, families, whānau, iwi, communities and businesses engaged in supporting learning. When these two key elements come together, they create educationally powerful connections, making the opportunity for educational success all the more possible for young people. This morning I'm pleased to say that we've started to see these educationally powerful connections starting to happen through the SSEPs, and I want to congratulate and acknowledge that and the work that has happened. As hoped 2 years ago, when this initiative got underway, we can see that SSEPs have helped to develop closer links between educators and industry. There is some evidence that SSEPs have influenced the way in which teachers plan and deliver the curriculum in their subject areas. The voice of students through the report that will be released later today indicates the pilot has broadened their outlook in relation to different career pathways, career options and workplaces. Regarding the impacts on improved student achievement, retention and transition to tertiary study or employment, we think that it's too early to tell, because this is dependent upon the progress that young people will take over the next coming years and what will happen in schools in regards to tracking the progress of these individual students. So there is a challenge there for us, and we have learnt a lot through the pilot. The challenge remains with how individual teachers, senior leaders, principals and boards use these experiences to shape and inform senior school curriculum design so that the individual pathways for all students are really strong as they move throughout their schooling to tertiary and employment. The other challenge is strengthening the connections with tertiary providers and with parents and whānau so that the learning pathways for young people are strong and sustainable. To this end, I mentioned when I started, it has been exciting to see the SSEPs join alongside the other initiatives in the Waikato. These initiatives are designed to support more deliberate and meaningful pathways and successful transitions for young people from education to employment. This year we have seen approximately 810 senior secondary school students currently participating in trades academy programs, including primary industries and transport logistics with multiple tertiary providers across the Waikato. We've got another 140 senior students currently participating in either dual pathways or other contextualised vocational pathway programs with links to industry in engineering, health science, applied science, automotive construction, social and community food and beverage and so forth. 150 Year 10 students annually participating in tertiary and industry training, vocational pathways, youth summits, again gaining valuable insights into tertiary and industry sectors. More than 1,900 students per year participating in gateway programs. On top of this, secondary school students continuing to have access to tertiary training and industry via STAR, the Secondary Tertiary Alignment Resource. And many of you, just thinking of connections and connections with Waikato Tainui, many of you will be schools that have kauinata with Waikato Tainui, and many of you will be members of the Kāhui Ako communities of learning. So So while you have a number of initiatives lining up to support young people, the magic is how you bring these together in a way that makes sense for each individual learner and their pathway. There's really good news on the NCEA Level 2 front. Nationally, we've seen the numbers of 18-year-olds achieving Level A, Level 2 or equivalent increase. And remembering that this qualification is the is the foundation qualification to transition from secondary to higher education, training and employment. We've seen significant increases nationally for Māori, and I'm hoping that once the data is released for each of the regions, we'll see a similar strong gains here in the Waikato. And the context for all of this is that we've got 28,715 to 24-year-olds, and of those, 7,500 are not in employment, education and training. 2,500 of those are aged between the 15 and 19-year-olds, and 5,000 are aged between 20 and 24 years of age. So there is much more work to be done, but it's important to take the time to pause, acknowledge the successes and gains that have been made for, with and by young people, learn from the SSEP pilot experiences and build on them. I want to acknowledge, before I finish, Smart Waikato and the work you have led, Sarah and fellow board members, Mary and Linda. You have been able to harness expertise through your networks and relationships with the business world. Nā reira ka whanihio kia koutou. These are very important and some of the essential ingredients to success, for success in the Waikato. Tēnā koutou katoa.
The cliche is that it takes a village to raise a child, but it's very, very true that the more connections that a young man is able to make, both within the school and outside the school while he's still a student here, the more likely he is to be able to feel really confident and secure when he leaves. The conversations I've heard between the staff and the employers just show that it really is a real vital and learning journey that they're on.
One of the challenges is actually us, the teachers. Getting trade qualified teachers, they're becoming rare as hen's teeth. And the ones that are around are all nearing retirement age. What we offer in our courses is what we have experience with. So for instance, I don't offer very much sheet metal stuff because I don't know very much sheet metal stuff. And the welding we have here is kind of restricted to the easy MIG welding and a bit of arc, but no TIG welding, which is far more prevalent as far as I understand in industry. So they're offering the experience to expose the boys and myself to that sort of thing.
Oh, it's been really amazing, just working with the businesses and with the tradesmen and the apprentice boys coming through. But even more benefit was the boys have been so switched on and really sort of, they understand what's out there, and seeing these guys come in who they see as quite cool guys, they really sort of sat up and listened to these guys and got a lot out of it. So it's a really worthwhile program.
Really enjoyed watching how each boy learns, how they react to different inputs and different techniques, and really seeing that moment when they understand something or they do something and then it finally clicks, and you can see it, the moment dawn on their face. It's very satisfying.
Personally, I've taken away a few things from my involvement with the SSEP, and that's taking a bit more time and explaining a few things, which helps me when I'm teaching my apprentices. Sometimes it's easy to presume they know what you're talking about, but sometimes you have to jump back and just teach them a little bit more of the basics.
So working with industry people was good because they pushed you a lot further than you would usually go.
We're looking long term here, and as the boys come through school and they can set their mindset on their career path earlier than what they do now, then they can actually focus on the subjects that they require.
to get into engineering and do well at it?
It was fun working with them because they share their experience with us and they teach us different skills.
I would like to say thank you because they helped me out a lot, like for instance choosing my options and stuff like that, and they gave me a good path that I could follow to become what I wanted and what I dreamed of.
So as you can see, it's not just the students that are benefiting from this program, the teachers have been getting a lot out of it, and also the employers. What we do encourage with our employers is actually that they offer some of the younger staff members to come in and interact and work with the teachers and the students. It means that those younger people are often, they're not that far off from having left school themselves, so they're quite relatable to the students. But also for their own professional development and personal development, the benefits have been huge. So for employers, other benefits that they've got out of this is just actually having the opportunity to get to know what is being taught in school, so understanding what schools are teaching, and also being able to talk to teachers directly about what it is that they need as employers. And this may not necessarily be particular to the subject, but it might be some of the softer skills as well. A really strong message that's come through is that real feeling of genuinely being able to give back to the community. So those have all been really positive outcomes for employers. But as you heard from Duncan in there as well, one of the apprentices who have been working in with our Hamilton Boys High School Metal Technology, SSEP, he's genuinely enjoyed it. And that has been another strong message that's come through. And in fact, so much so that 80% of employers involved in the pilot have said that they will consider also participating in SSEP in another school. One of our region's fastest growing industries is the IT sector. In fact, probably not just in the region, but worldwide. Our next speaker is a leader in the Waikato IT space. He's involved in the Waikato Men's Business Labour Market Strategy Group and has two of his companies committed to the Hamilton Boys High School IT SSEP. Could you please welcome to the stage David Hallett of Company X.
So the question I get asked regularly from people is, why do you have your companies committed to SSEP? And the answer is, it's not all over altruistic, because ICT is a sector which is growing excessively fast in New Zealand, and with this comes huge labour constraints. So, to answer the question, why are we involved with SSEP, I'll need to give you some statistics. So, ICT in New Zealand has been growing 14% annually for the last 6 years. We have over $1 billion in exports. In the Waikato alone, we have $100 million of exports in the ICT sector, with a contribution of $700 million to the New Zealand GDP. Why is this of importance? Well, the Department of Labour, about 9 years ago, when they existed before MB came along, used to do these job fill rate statistics, and ICT had a fill rate of 52% for every job. What that means is that for every 2 advertised jobs, only 1 gets filled. And not much has changed in the last 9 years since those stats came out. Some of you will know last month I was in the US on business, and Company X is an innovation company. We work with businesses developing software, bespoke software, and work in that consultancy space. I could have sold our company's capacity 5 times over last month in the US, because these businesses are hungry to work with New Zealand staff, and especially with Kiwis, because of our can-do and our excellence in terms of training and experience. The University of Waikato, where we are here, for those of you who don't know, is in the top 200 universities internationally for computer science and information systems. Why is that a good thing and a bad thing? Well, it's really good because it's a great story for people overseas to understand who we are and why we've got great staff in the computer science and IT space. Why it's bad is because Minister Joyce only recently made the comment, of course, that for all the graduates coming out of the university here in New Zealand, there are 1,000 shortages per annum. So there are 1,000 grads too few for the number of advertised jobs. So why do companies get involved, or why do we jump into SSEPs? It's because we realised that the issue with graduates means there's not enough people going in necessarily into university, and for us, it's our job to manage pipeline. If we want to sell skills and resources in our company internationally, we need to be the ones who are looking at the opportunities for filling the roles in our businesses. So as you can see, we've got critical skill shortages in IT. I believe that our industry needs to take ownership to ensure our continued growth and sustainability. So I've committed my company to be involved with SSEP. We've been working very closely with Hamilton Boys High School. Marcel, one of our staff, has been working with the boys around computer game writing and also around playing with robots. So I don't know whether you've seen in the Waikato Business News or in stuff recently, he's been showing off his tea robot, tea-making robot. And these things, although bizarre, really strike a chord with kids, in year 9 and year 10, because it shows them that these things aren't necessarily hard to do. And in fact, there are really exciting and fun things that you can do in our sector. So, I guess to answer the question, what's the benefit to us? The benefit is that we get to hopefully convince some of these kids at schools that IT is a great place to work. And it's not just sitting behind a screen knocking away keys. There are a plethora of jobs in the industry. Whether someone's interested in design and art, there's a whole lot of graphic design positions. Whether someone likes talking to people, there's lots of opportunities in business analysis. And people like organising and being bossy, project managers are a great opportunity in our sector. So hopefully some of these kids get a glimpse of what these roles are. And we hope, I guess it's a 5 to 7 year timeline for us to see whether this happens, but we can get more students interested in IT and followed through into tertiary education for our sector. Thanks.
Nairi Harris, Principal at Hauraki Plains College. 700 students with decile 5. So in terms of how SSEP fits with the strategic direction of the school, for several years now, the whole thing about how we're preparing our students for their lives beyond the school gates has been quite a feature of our strategic direction. So it seemed to me like this would be a good basis for encouraging young people to think about those things.
What I've learned from working with the teachers and the students is that there is a little bit of a disconnect as to what's happening in the school and what's actually happening out in the real world.
Westpac wanted to get involved in SSEP just so we can, contribute to helping students understand the relevance of what they're learning and how that relates to the real world and career opportunities.
I went to Hauraki Plains College. I felt when I was at school I never had a great opportunity like this to go out and get that real hands-on experience, see what's out there, see what kind of jobs are available, have that awareness around what you might not like to do. So I found that a really good opportunity to come back and feel like you're giving back a little bit to the students and opening their eyes a little bit to what they can do when they're older.
Getting involved in the employment partnership was quite an interesting challenge, I thought. It was something that, because I've been involved here in Hauraki Plains College as a past student, as a board member, I've been able to give something back from what we could do in business to help the students and develop the education system. Would be something that we could contribute as part of our time.
I found studying clean engineering good because it was the closest to what I wanted to do when I leave school, which is be a high-performance mechanic on cars and motorbikes.
I'll describe the experience of going to Hauraki Plains as exciting and interesting because you got to see the workers at work.
And it's not just for guys, which you would think it would be, but there's also girls that work there as well.
The benefits hopefully that will come out of it, that some of these kids when they come along in 3 or 4 years' time when they finish their education will actually just want to come and work in small businesses in small towns and stay with the small towns. And if they don't do that, the small towns are dying, and the small businesses are dying in small towns because they can't get staff. And so hopefully it will actually encourage them to stay around.
English is really, really important. It's not just a subject in school that you study, it's integral in a business situation, from emails, communication to clients, customers. We try to make that as important as possible, that you can't run a business without those core English skills.
I think, as I didn't fully appreciate either, though, being an English teacher, the importance of English within the business. And the students in my classes got onto the idea of the different sorts of communication that businesses can use.
They did become more aware of how English is actually used. I think that was huge for some of the boys, especially in the group, knowing that they couldn't escape reading and writing and speaking. They were going to have to do it no matter what.
The experience of going to Teams Hospital was very interesting and educational. We got to see what they do behind the scenes and how they keep the hospital running.
So I was really taken with their curiosity and their questions and their thoughtfulness. I thought that was great. Well, I definitely think that we planted a seed in some students' minds around a career in health and what the possibilities are, that it's a whole variety of things, and it's not like what you see on television with Shortland Street and all that sort of thing. They at least got that. So I think that that's what we're hopefully going to see in the future. I would have thought earlier on maybe they were too young, maybe it wasn't going to make a difference, but I think it would be of great value. So I hope you're able to continue on.
Good morning. For those of you who I've yet to meet, my name is Sarah Morton-Johnson, and as Chair of Smart Waikato Trust, today is something of a proud mum moment for me, watching all those videos. Let me start with my thanks to all of those of you who have played a part in making the SSEP program such a success. I'd like to acknowledge the time, the expertise contributed by teachers and employer partners, and the financial support provided by Well Energy Trust, Waikato Men's Business, and the Waikato Federated Farmers Charitable Society. Together with the talent and the energy of the Smart Waikato team, you have achieved something to be very proud of. You are supporting the young people of the Waikato in becoming the mighty workforce of the future, having learned relevant skills and been inspired to join the businesses and industry that make the Waikato the place to be. Before even having completed the pilot we were planning for this year, 2017, having faith that our supporters would continue their involvement and increase participation in the program. Early indications are positive and some funding has been secured. So in 2017, our pilot schools are continuing in the program with a new group of students. We have 7 new schools join the program, and would like to welcome Cambridge High School, Fraser High School, Huntley College, Ngaruawahia High School, the Rurutuna High Schools, Tikawhata College, and Waikato Diocesan School for Girls, many of whom are represented here today. This year we will have 1,500 new students benefiting from the SSEP program, and our focus as a trust will be to build a resource base to share across schools that will join us in the future. With SSEP, we thought that we were helping to solve the disconnect between school-based learning and the world of work. And this is true, but SSEP is really about generating opportunities. Opportunities to engage with learning, for work experience, to influence career choices, to enhance career development. Not to mention forging meaningful and lasting connections between schools and the real world of work. However, 2018 presents us with some opportunities and challenges. goal that we haven't already achieved. And today you will have seen and now heard proof of the value of SSEP to our community. We'd like to see all 50 secondary schools in the Waikato participating in the program by 2022. We'd like to see the staggered introduction of the program adding 7 schools a year. And for every 7 schools that we're able to add to the program, 1,000 new students benefit each year of the 3 years that we commit with each school. Smart Waikato makes a 3-year commitment to every school it works with in the SSEP program. In the first year, our focus is on introducing and setting up the program. And as Linda indicated, there's a significant amount of time invested to recruit and build relationships with employers and to engage with schools, many of which are geographically distant from our Hamilton office. In year 2, we embed and monitor the program, continuing to build the SSEP within the school and planning for the next year. In the 3rd year, we focus on resourcing and future-proofing, supporting the school to become self-sufficient with SSEP for the future, strategic planning and expanding to other subject areas. Per student, the cost of the SSEP program is not significantly. In our pilot group, it was less than $70 per student, and it's much less now. In fact, the current cost per student has decreased to around $47 per student. But when we estimate the number of students across the Waikato, the future cost profile of the program is significant. At least it is significant to us, as it is beyond the resources of our small charitable trust. However, we believe that meeting this funding challenge is achievable if we're able to access broad-based funding. As it stands today, adding another 7 schools in 2018 depends on securing the $47 per student to fund the program, or $10,000 per school to get them started. We can't do it alone, and I'd like to ask for your help. We could do with some help right now. Having more schools participating this year, we are looking for some new employer partners. In particular, employers engaged in the science area to support Fraser High School and business partners who can work with the Rototuna Junior Highs. Over the remainder of 2017, we'll be working very hard to secure funding for 2018 and beyond. Again, we're looking for your support, and not just by opening your wallets either. Don't get me wrong, cash means we can pay our bills, but we'd also appreciate some practical support to help us achieve our ultimate goal of the SSEP program being self-sustaining. We can do this by arranging sponsorship or one-off donations. We'd like to encourage you to consider adopting a school, a commitment that would be up to $20,000 over a 3-year period. You could support us by lobbying central and local government for funding, by referring us potential supporters or sponsors, or by joining our funding working group. Finally, you can help us by simply spreading the word about the SSEP program, what it is and how it delivers value for students, teachers, business partners, and in the end, delivers a mighty workforce for the Waikato. So you can do this by telling your colleagues, friends and families our story, sharing the links that will be up on our website, visiting our Facebook page, liking, leaving a comment. All of those help to spread the word. Finally, it's now my pleasure to introduce Hannah from Fairfield College. Hannah is going to share a little of her SSEP story and how it has impacted her. Hannah stands here today representing the 731 students who completed the program in 2016, and hopefully the thousands that will follow her. Please welcome Hannah.
Hi, I'm here from Fairfield College, and I've been given the amazing opportunity today to speak to you about my experience with SSEP. At first, when our math teacher started talking about going out into the workforce, my whole class's natural response was an eruption of conversation. How exciting, getting out of math for a few lessons. But after a few trips, we started to realise it was way more than a get out of school free card. We started learning so much new information about possible careers, meeting amazing new people, and how much math is really used out there in the real world. I remember one workplace we visited with Foster Construction. I found all the measurements and formations of the building interesting, but maybe not as interesting as other boys sitting next to me in the van on the way back. As the whole drive to school, they couldn't stop going on about how they can't wait to be a builder and what tools their dad had in their garage they would get home and start experimenting with. That trip, that 45 minutes of walking around a half-built retirement village, sparked a passion in those boys. A passion that couldn't quite be sparked sitting behind a desk in a classroom. One of my favourite places we visited was Deloitte's. Not because I want to be an accountant or anything, just the relationships made there with the people. After we finished the booklets they gave us, we all sat around talking, playing games and eating fruit bursts. I loved learning about the people there and their everyday work life. I was starting to come to an understanding of what it would be like to be an accountant, a builder or a nurse. Also, it was always nice going back to places where they remembered our names. I think the most important thing my fellow classmates and I got out of SSEP was how much math really does relate in every type of job, whether it be a doctor working out a client's BMI, a builder measuring lengths of wood, or even a farmer working out how much electric fencing you need. We all realised that maybe we should focus in school, as it could really affect us in the long term. I want to thank you so much to all the business people who invited us into their workplaces, came into our classrooms and shared your knowledge with us. You will never know just how much you have impacted the way we all view our future. We don't really know what our futures will hold, but this is the beginning of our stories. On behalf of my generation of teenagers, I really encourage everyone here to help make a difference by getting involved with SSEP. Become a part of the SSEP story and play your part in making Waikato mighty.
Thank you, Hannah. You're such a star. And thank you, Linda, and all of our speakers today. I'd like to ask every SSEP participant, pilot schools, new schools this year, of which there are 7, business people involved to all stand up so we can all give you all a clap for all of your efforts. So, who's been involved? Thank you. Let us not fall into the trap of thinking this work is easy. It isn't, but it is necessary and it's positively transformational, helping us grow our region together. Thank you for attending today. You are all leaders and you could all help us make that positive difference. Working together, working smarter, making Waikato mighty. Thank you, everybody. And so concludes our session today, apart from lunch. But there's one really important thing you need to do before you can leave the room. Does anyone remember? We'd like you to fill in the forms in your pack. Should have school at the top or business or supporter before you leave the room, just so we can get a bit of feedback from you. And hand them to the usher on the way out, and there should be delicious food outside and refreshments for you. Thank you. Do you want to close? Uncle Puka will just close for us.
I want to pātu karaki e ka hōki ki tātou. Ki tau te tātou katoa, tātou whai o ku tātou ariki o i karaki i te aro ki tātua, te whiwhina tahi tāma te wei o tātou ake, amen. If I can just bless our food, e te atu e te ariki ho mai ni kai o hana ho mātu tino, o ngā mātou wei o ki te taro te ora, ko e karaki tō mātou ariki, amen. Kia ora tātou.